What if two of Hollywood's most beloved actors, whose on-screen chemistry defined one of TV's greatest crime dramas, never team up again? That's the heartbreaking reality fans are facing after Woody Harrelson made it crystal clear that he would never reunite with Matthew McConaughey for another season of True Detective. In a recent interview on NBC's Today, Woody didn't just shut the door, he locked it and threw away the key. When asked if he'd ever consider returning to the series that made him and McConaughey one of TV's most iconic duos, Woody smiled and said simply, "In fairness, never. No chance." Then he added why. "Because it turned out great. I love that it turned out the way it did, and if anything, doing another season would tarnish that." Fans everywhere felt that sting. The finality of hearing that the first season, as perfect as it was, would remain untouched forever. For fans of True Detective, those words hit hard. The first season wasn't just a show, it was a cultural moment. Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey as detectives Marty Hart and Rust Cohle redefined television storytelling. Their performances, dark and layered, pulled viewers into a world of mystery, philosophy, and human pain. So when Woody said never, it wasn't just a personal choice, it felt like the end of an era. On Today, host Dylan Dreyer reminded him that McConaughey had once said he'd be open to returning if the story was good enough and if Woody was in. But Woody just chuckled and said, "Matthew's so funny." That small comment said a lot. Maybe Woody's content with what they created, while Matthew, ever the dreamer, still sees room for one more ride. It's a dynamic that mirrors their True Detective characters, the optimist and the realist, still connected years later by a bond that fans can't stop obsessing over. But what's really fascinating is that True Detective's creator Nick Pizzolatto hasn't fully closed the door. Back in May, he revealed that he actually has a new story idea for Rust and Marty. He said, "I actually have another story for Cohle and Hart that, who knows, maybe we'll do it one day." That single statement reignited the fandom's hopes. It's not written yet, but just knowing that the idea exists has kept speculation alive. Nick described it as character-based again, which is exactly what made the first season unforgettable. It wasn't just about solving crimes. It was about two broken men confronting their own demons. So when Nick mentioned that he's talked with both Woody and Matthew about it, people couldn't help but wonder, could this ever happen? The chemistry between those two was lightning in a bottle, and even a decade later, fans still quote Rust Cohle's haunting monologues about time, existence, and human nature. It's no wonder everyone wants to see them reunite. Still, Woody's hesitation makes sense. He's proud of what they achieved, and maybe he's protective of it. To him, the first season was perfect because it ended where it should. Sometimes, revisiting something so loved risks dulling the magic. Woody even said, if anything, doing another season would tarnish that. You can tell he's not just being dramatic. He genuinely believes in leaving great art untouched. And yet, the irony is that his friendship with Matthew has only deepened over the years. The two actors share a bond that goes far beyond the show. They joke, vacation together, and speak of each other with real warmth. They've even teased about possibly being real-life brothers. That story went viral in 2023 when Matthew's mom, Mary McCabe, revealed she knew Woody's father, the late hitman Charles Harrelson, back in the day. The timing, as Matthew said later, was suspiciously close to his own conception. It all started during a family trip to Greece. Matthew and Woody were sitting together, surrounded by their families, reminiscing about their lifelong friendship. Matthew's mom casually dropped a bombshell, saying, "Woody, I knew your dad." But it wasn't just what she said. It was how she said it. That word "knew" hung in the air like a thundercloud, loaded with implication. Everyone at the table, including Woody and Matthew, felt it instantly. Matthew later described that exact moment on Kelly Ripa's podcast, saying everyone noticed the ellipses after the word new. Suddenly, a lighthearted vacation turned into an existential mystery. Could the two Hollywood icons actually share the same father? The thought was wild, hilarious, and oddly heartwarming all at once. And for two men whose bond already blurred the line between friendship and family, it suddenly didn't seem all that impossible. After that revelation, things only got more interesting. Matthew's mom explained that she had been separated from Matthew's supposed father, Jim, about 9 months before Matthew was born. That timeline, well, it didn't exactly help her case. Woody, ever the jokester, took it in stride and found the whole thing fascinating. He even suggested they take a DNA test to find out the truth once and for all. But Matthew wasn't quite ready for that. As Woody later told Stephen Colbert, for him, it's a much bigger deal. He feels like he's losing a father. Then with a grin, Woody added, "But I'm like, no, you're gaining a different father and a brother." That mix of humor and heart perfectly sums up their friendship. It's deep, it's genuine, and it's filled with that southern charm they both radiate so naturally. Whether or not they share DNA, their connection already feels like family, and that might be all that matters. Even without a DNA test, fans couldn't help but speculate. Social media lit up with side-by-side photos of the two actors, their smiles, their expressions, even their easygoing energy seemed eerily alike. The internet dubbed them McHarrelsons, half joking, half convinced they were long-lost brothers. But beneath all the jokes, there was something kind of beautiful about the idea. In a business often filled with ego and rivalry, these two men have shown what genuine friendship looks like. They've stood by each other through career highs, personal challenges, and wild rumors. From red carpet moments to tequila-fueled laughs, Matthew and Woody have never taken themselves too seriously. Maybe that's why fans love them so much, because their friendship feels real, unfiltered, and refreshingly human. And while Woody might never step back into the dark world of True Detective, he's made it clear his partnership with Matthew extends far beyond the screen. In the end, Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey may never reunite as Rust and Marty, but they've built something far more meaningful, a lifelong brotherhood that stood the test of time. Whether they're swapping stories, teasing each other on talk shows, or reflecting on that mysterious maybe connection, their bond remains unshakable. Woody might joke about never doing True Detective again, but there's no denying that the show cemented one of TV's most iconic duos. Fans will always wonder, what if? But maybe Woody's right. Some stories are best left untouched, perfect just the way they ended. What began as a gritty crime drama became something much deeper, the origin of one of Hollywood's most beloved friendships. And while the mystery of their shared DNA might never be solved, one thing's for sure, they don't need a test to prove they're brothers at heart.